and I'm the most boring person in this room. You know, the reason I say that this, for most of you, I think almost all of you are seeing me for the first time, and these two sentences you're going to remember about me for the rest of, my life. Okay, so it's very important to make the first presentation. I could have said most interesting man in the room or, whatever, anything. It doesn't matter. You will remember that sentence. So, the first impression is very important. Okay, so just to make a little point. So, yes, sorry, as I think this is also working. So, yeah, stupid of me. So, as Taliz was saying, he said something about very senior or many years of experiences, and I was looking at my hair, so I started off in the 90s, in 1994 or 95, I can't remember, in a ad agency. I mean, about 80 or maybe 70% of my experience is working with advertising agencies, and I've been very lucky to have bosses like, Emmanuel sitting out here. He runs one of India's hottest creative agencies, digital. So, but more about him later. He'll also, speak. So, I worked in various ad agencies, and these were the days of print advertising, when you wrote lines in English, and, there was body copy, there was a picture, etc. And, that's what you did. And, a little later there was film, TV had come in, and, there was radio, of course, there was outdoors, etc., etc. There was no digital. So my background is non-digital. And then at some point, I got when digital had started coming in, this would be in the mid-2000s, I guess, right? I got a little bored with traditional advertising, partly because, I wasn't so good at it, not as good as Emmanuel and some other friends. So I thought, let's try this digital thing also, okay? So I went to a digital advertising agency. I was there for a while. I was at 2-3 different agencies. I went to the client side also. I used to head digital marketing at Coca-Cola for a brief while, for about 2 years, I think. And then I thought, let me become a consultant, So then began a period of, consulting for various brands, both profit and non-profit. I worked on political campaigns, a particular Lok Sabha campaign that got a particular political party into power. I will not mention names, but I was an integral part of that campaign, and great learning experiences, etc. And so that's what I've been doing back and forth. And last 1 year or so, I've been, like Taliz, my friend Taliz was saying, I've been, trying out what they call the startup life. In other words, when there's no money in your pocket, that life, I thought that matched with my interests. So yes, I'm, a co-founder of a healthcare startup. I will not promote it. This is not the platform, but yes, it's a healthcare startup, and it's, it kind of promotes traditional Indian medicine, what we call Ayush, using the internet as a delivery medium, using, technology to disrupt, the way Ayush is consumed in this country and abroad, hopefully at some point. So that's what my focus is, and I also, kind of collaborate on quote-unquote online, offline ideas with various friends, and some other things are also happening, but that's my focus, this healthcare thing. So, so that's my boring introduction, okay, and let's start off, branding, digital. Before I start off, how many of you are on Snapchat? Can you raise your hands, please? Oh, that's quite a lot. 5, 6, okay. I won't ask how many of you are on Facebook or email. Okay, because I know. All right, so let me start with a little presentation. By the way, whatever I say, everything is stolen. I have no copyright on anything. Everything I have stolen from Google, okay? I'm not original at all. But I know what to steal. So like I was saying, when I started off in the mid-90s, it was advertising with a capital A. Okay, the way you did it was you had a message, there was a lot of science behind that message, and you pumped it out to as many people as possible using a lot of money. Okay, so you would have a TV ad, you would have print, you would have, radio, etc. This was the old world. It's still there. It's still the, where the big bucks still go, right? So that was a firework. It was a Diwali pataka. It cost a lot of money. It went up, boom, boom, boom. Everyone saw it, and then it died, right? Unless you had a lot of money to, get the second pataka up in the sky, you were dead. So that is still advertising, right? Then social media as a bonfire. Now social media, I will just request you to substitute the word digital for social media, okay? Because if it's digital, it's social, it's the same thing really, it doesn't matter, okay? So if advertising is a firework, then digital is a bonfire. Achha, by the way, when I talk, you can interrupt, you can ask questions. That's how digital works. It's not a, one-way conversation. It's a two-way conversation. So feel free to interrupt anytime you want to, okay? So like I was saying, advertising is like fireworks, like Diwali, very expensive. They're attention-grabbing beacons on steroids. The good ones make you go, oh, ooh, wow. Grab a lot of attention. They're pre-packaged. Just light a firework and stand back. Or you get ad agencies, specialists to do it for you. It's very easy because all you need is money. The bigger the budget, the more notice, more attention you'll get. Of course, quality, there is a space, room for quality also. If your money, your message is creative, if it's quality, then you actually need to spend less money. But I won't get into that. I'm saying it still runs on how big is my budget. The bigger your budget, the more people will see it, right? So it's a big gorilla, all right? But, like I was saying, fireworks burn very quickly but die very quickly. So unless you have a backup budget, you're gone. You need to keep lighting fireworks to keep folk interested. And it's expensive. It's like an arms race. Bigger, brighter, louder, more. Now the second thing, the option, the digital. Bonfire night is not just about the fireworks. If advertising is a firework, if it's a Diwali night, then digital is a bonfire. Okay. How many of you live in Delhi? I'm sure most would, right? Everyone. So have you seen these little bonfires in your neighborhood where normally security guards, kind of make a circle and stay there most of the night? It's always people, right? 5, 6 security guards or drivers or something like that, right? It's always people coming together from different places. That is digital, people coming together from different places. Okay. So building a bonfire takes time, and then you don't take it out of a box and light a match and it goes up. It takes some time. It takes some time to get good at building bonfires. You might go out, keep trying. Use whatever you have in hand. Might be a bit lonely at first. Your little Facebook page with 3 fans. How many of you have Facebook pages for your brands? Okay. All right, okay. So that's about half, I think, which is good. And these are brands that you work on, right? Okay. Twitter, about the same. Okay. And Instagram. Okay. Okay. And Google Plus, I won't ask, but. LinkedIn must be everyone, right? LinkedIn is the new shadi.com, someone was telling me the other day. Not true. It's of great value, especially for recruitment. Anyway, so to come back, it might be a bit lonely at first, okay? Then a few friends gathered around, then a few more. You may not see this so much in Delhi. It's like I was saying, mostly people from a certain demographic, but if you go up in the hills, the entire village comes out to around the bonfire. Any of you from the north, from Shimla? Nearby? Okay. It's where people like to hang out and share. Then something magic happens. People, your friends, they start helping out, building your bonfire, right? In other words, your fans become your brand ambassadors. Because people like helping out with bonfires. If there is a common good, if people see that there is some value happening, people will help out. More friends, more wood, bigger fire, more friends. So from a small start, which was here, at some point, depending on how good you are, what kind of people you have, you can end up with something pretty amazing. I used to work on Coca-Cola, like I said a little while ago, I headed the digital thing in India. I helped set it up in India, if you remember Coke Studio in India, which is not a very good thing now that I'm out of Coke, I can say publicly, compared to Coke Pakistan, I think. But, the Coca-Cola Facebook page was started not by Coca-Cola, it was started by two fans. And Coca-Cola got very upset. How can two fans start a Coca-Cola page? So the lawyers said, sue these guys for $10 million and $15 million and all that. And so Coca-Cola was about to sue these two guys. I forget their names. Okay. And when someone in Coke said, hey, listen, just let them run it. What's the problem? It's a fan page. Okay. So till date, those two guys run the largest Facebook, fan page in the world, on Facebook, that is. When I left, 4 or 5 years ago, it was about 60 million. I don't know how big it is now. Must have crossed 100 million, the Coca-Cola fan page. So a fan starting a brand page. I understand you can't do it for a lot of other sectors. Maybe Coca-Cola you can get away with. But I'm just giving an example, how fans are so important to the growth of a brand. Unlike a TV-led kind of approach, for example, okay, where the only communication you have with your audience is through TV, this is completely different. The largest, most recognized brand in the world, Coca-Cola, the social media was started by two fans. Yeah. So just like social media, okay. Now this is very important, there is this, when I used to go to these digital conferences about 8-9 years ago, people used to say, oh, digital is going to replace everything, print is dead, and TV is going to die, and go online and all that. Nothing like that happened. I think mainstream media is doing very well, especially in countries like India, where print is still doing well, right? Regional papers, Hindi papers, most of you know. In my election budgets, there would always be, Dainik Bhaskar and Amar Ujala or whatever, which would be really, really big, much bigger than digital. But that's okay, right? In the long term, we don't know, but right now, it's not either or. It's both, which is called integrated. An integrated approach to advertising. All have to work together, and all are digital, which is why, I don't believe in something called a digital conference. Everything is digital, right? If it's not, it's on the way, from your smartphone through which, you get everything, even this friend launched a Dhobi on smartphone, and it's an old idea, I believe. Television is digital, your, radio is digital, everything is digital, right? Outdoors is becoming digital now. So if you have an amazing bonfire already, use a few Diwali fireworks to bring folk to it. It's called awareness. Awareness that a bonfire exists, right? Any of you familiar with the word impressions? Okay. So you tell us, what is impressions?
So people, suppose you have a party.
Broadly, yes. So impressions is the number of people who've seen your communication, right? So, and it could be multiple visits also, right? So if you have one piece of communication on the online space somewhere, 20 people saw it 5 times each, total 100, right? So you've got 100 impressions. Now they may not have taken any action. They may not have clicked on it or shared it or liked it or whatever, it doesn't matter. But they saw it, okay? So that is impressions, okay? So impressions is the first, point in awareness. Am I aware that you exist? There's this guy called Shubho who said, I'm the most boring man in the room. That's an impression, that's it. Nothing else. You haven't interacted with him, okay? After impressions will come an action, which is what did I do? On Facebook, action is 3 or 4 types. One is liking it. Anybody liked anything this morning on Facebook? Friends page? What did you like? Sorry? Image of what? Of girlfriends? Okay, I won't probe any more. But yeah, so that is, an action. So you like something, or you make a comment, or you share. So there are these 3-4 different things on Facebook. Similarly, on all medium, there are these actions. It's called CTA, call to action, for example. What is the call to action for this particular communication? So, yeah. Yeah. So impressions is it's challenged actually. It's a good question you asked. So if I'm on Facebook and you have, in your interest, you have mentioned sports. Okay. So you may have seen a sports ad on the right column. Okay, but you didn't even notice it. Maybe you switched it off. Like I have some ad blocker tool, I've switched it off. But according to Facebook, it's an impression, you've seen it, which is not true. So it's very debatable. I mean, I will not get into it too deeply, but a lot of people are now beginning to reject impressions as a measure of effectiveness. They are saying, what is the action that they took, like, which has led an entirely new industry. It's an old industry approach actually. It's called lead generation. So, brands go to ad agencies and say, I don't care about the impressions. I don't even care about how many people clicked my ad. Tell me how many leads you generated for me. If I'm selling shoes, I want to see how many people said, yes, I'm interested in your shoe. That is a lead. So yeah, you're right, impressions are being challenged, but it's still, impressions are like TV. It's like a newspaper ad, right? So, you have an ad on page 16. So just because I've got that newspaper means impression ho gaya hai. But it might not be true, right? Yeah.
If you are visiting in a showroom, so if you are come across any kind of special thing, say for example a very nice shoe, a lot of people they are passing through that area, so you can say that that's also an impression.
Yes, you can. I mean, there are, in fact, there is a technology company in Bangalore. They're creating a device, actually, it's Chinese, it's been around for a while. They're bringing this device to India where it will measure the footsteps, not just walking into your showroom, but also someone who went and stood in front of the showroom and looked at your jeans or whatever. So that company is saying, well, someone came and stood here and looked at my products for 5 minutes. Here's the data. That means impression. That means someone is interested in your thing. So yeah, there are different ways. Yeah. Yes.
And then later on, what is the effect whether he has purchased it or
Yeah. So there is something coming in called, and I'm sure everyone knows big data, So big data is used to predict the behavior of consumers over a period of time. So they're using, behavioral psychology, for example, to kind of predict what will this man do. If he's come here 5 times, if he's interested in jeans, for example, okay, if I've mapped his online behavior and it's this man who's, he drinks beer, he likes watching sports, he likes doing ABCD other things, so he's probably my customer also. I mean, he'll buy my jeans, okay. So all these things are also happening through technology. So it's not just how many people saw my ad impressions. Yeah. I was just thinking, sorry, I'll just interrupt. Can we, since it's not a very big crowd, though there are a lot of people, can we introduce ourselves so, all of us get to know, because one of the things that Talis is very keen on is networking. So before you go into, having your coffee, we can kind of introduce ourselves, yeah? So you want to start off that corner? Mike, then other. Just your name and the organization you're from, that is enough. Which cricket team you support, that can come later. Let's start off with your name and your...
I am Sana Zaidi and I'm a chartered accountant.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, madam.
Hello everyone, my name is Chitraparna Sena. I run my own digital marketing company and right now I am also the brand ambassador for Payoneer in India.
What?
For Payoneer, it's a payments company based in
Okay.
US.
Wonderful. I should ask you for a job at some point.
Good morning, my name is Anish Gambhir. I work for SMS Group. I head the supply chain department over here.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hi everybody, good morning. This is Shubhankar. I am working with Exchange for Media and we are doing a lot of media events and all these B2B events are for every vertical.
Hi everyone, my name is Subhesh and I run a company called MJ Security Systems.
What security say?
MJ Security Systems.
Okay. This is online, digital?
No, it's not a digital company. It's basically into this surveillance and CCTV camera space. Plus, there's an online magazine as well. Edited.
I see.
Hi everyone, my name is Vijay and I work for the company called BizStore and I'm also co-founder at there.
Also?
And the company called BizStore.
Yeah. Okay. Yes.
So I'm a co-founder and I also work in the digital department at the BizStore.
Hi everyone, my name is Nitin Kaushik. I work for Print Papa, a commercial printing company.
My name is Emmanuel, I am Shubho's friend. I run a company called ITSA, it's into advertising and communication.
Hi everyone, myself Manish Raman. I am working in a brand called Digital Private Limited as a digital marketing manager.
Good morning, my name is Ratnesh Dubey and I am Chief Executive of Brandcon Digital Group.
Hello everyone, my name is Harshad and I'm the Business Development Executive for Brandcon.
Hello everyone, I'm Dipinder Kaur and I work as a content marketing manager at Brandcon Digital.
Hi, I'm Arpana Sarkar. I work with MEC Global in the digital division and which is also part of Group M.
Arpana is my old friend. We're meeting after many years. Wonderful to see you here.
Hi, I'm Varun. We are part from Citibank.
Hi, good morning. My name is Shobhit and we're representing Citibank over here.
Hi, my name is Rishi Sabharwal. I'm working with Accenture India and managing customer loyalty programs for the clients.
Hi, my name is Sumit. I work in finance.
Finance where?
I work for a boutique finance company.
It's a Swiss company, because you're not mentioning the name.
No, it's not a Swiss company. It's a boutique fund.
Okay.
Hi, good morning everyone. My name is Anil Bakshi and I run my own company called OPEX Guru Consulting. The only job which I do is I ask a lot of questions which are what, why, how, when, and then I charge people for answering them.
Hi everybody, I am Mansi Tiwari. I am from Google and I take care of channel marketing programs over there. I also run a blog and that's all about my introduction.
My name is Swati and I just chill and I think I had nothing better to do over the weekend, so I thought I'll come here.
Swati is also a very good, very renowned photographer.
Hi, I'm Rajiv. I'm representing Netcom Labs, Noida, and I work there as a creative head, and associated with the industry from last 15, 16 years.
Okay.
Hi, good morning all. Myself Manoranjan Nanda. I am working with Netcom Labs and I am working as a TL digital marketing.
From where I'm standing, it's very deceptive because there are three, big blocks, but I can see only this one. I have to kind of look like this because of these pillars. So there are a lot of people.
Hello, good morning.
Sorry, yeah.
This is Nirmal, a chartered accountant. I am a partner consultant at Go eComply.
Go eComply. Okay. So this is compliance, legal. Okay.
Hi, good morning, everyone. This is C. Niresh, chartered accountant, consulting to Go eComply and finance head official.
Hi everyone, I'm Anush. I'm running a brand and design company in India as well as in New Zealand. We do design and packaging for many international national brands like Haldiram and Cornetto's, Creamica, Creamwell and all that. Thank you.
Hi everyone, this is Shivam Gandhi. I'm from the same company. Company name is Maxim Solutions Private Limited and it's a brand and design agency. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Simar this side from SME Joiner. I'm working with them as a relationship manager. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Vivek. I work with SME Joiner. We are a business services helpline.
Okay. Thank you. That's it. I think, thank you, everyone. At least we know each other's names and maybe we'll remember one or two. So that's good enough. Okay, so back to this PPT, right? If you want to, you can come a little aage. I mean, up to you. I will not force you. At the back, you can do Facebook also. So maybe it's a good idea. Anyway, so if you have an amazing bonfire already, use a few fireworks to bring folks to it. So, you must have seen a lot of e-commerce companies doing full-page print ads also. This is exactly what it is. When someone builds an app, they use traditional media where a lot of people already are to bring people in. Right? Whether it works, whether it don't works is debatable. I will not get into that, but I'm just saying that's done using traditional media to get people to online places. Google is also doing it, right? I'm so sorry, you had a question. Please go ahead. Yeah, sorry.
Just talking about impressions.
Yeah.
So basically, when somebody searches for anything on Google, what you have is you have a relevant, if suppose your page comes in that relevancy, your person and that person has come to your page. So that is a visitor. And visitor cannot be a person who is a definite customer to you, but definitely it has some interest level there. Suppose if your website as well as your content, if it is very relevant to what he is searching for, definitely that might get converted.
Yeah.
So that is all about impression that I wanted to know.
Yeah. Don't use the mic. Actually, you can speak loudly.
Flipkart and then I visit my Facebook page. Whatever I searched, somehow I find it on my Facebook page if my account is linked. Somehow compelling me to buy that product or reminding me that you had searched for an iPhone or a different product. So what exactly would it be? Impression or what kind of
it will still be an impression. I think you're talking about retargeting and stuff like that, right? So these days everything is linked. I mean, if you have a Google account, you're already linked with half the world, 90% of the world, Google, Facebook, etc. So everything is linked. So if you go to whatever, some e-commerce site and click something, express some insight, so that some piece of information that from that website is going to follow you around.
So probably that impression they're converting into an actual lead or forcing you to
reminding you. Yeah. You can switch it off. I mean, a lot of people use ad blockers. So
just
yeah. So that is also an impression, if that was your original question. Yeah. Swagata, right? Your name? Chitraparna.
Isn't this a breach of privacy? Like whenever you're searching and it is retargeted, so it's like our information is available everywhere. Isn't that problem with privacy?
No, it's not. I mean, you have the option of switching it off. Sure. Yes, you are. Yeah. Sometimes there's this sign that comes up, cookies. You can switch it off. You can turn it off. I always turn it off. I use a lot of ad blockers, so I don't get these things. Yeah. So both of you asked a very interesting question, which leads on to the next thing, which is content. Why do your behavior online is basically you're looking for content, relevant content. Okay. That is a bigger thing to go after. If you ask me, out of 3, 4, 5 things in digitally, let's say one is a great understanding of how the metrics work on digital. If you click, what does it mean? What is the value of a Facebook fan? What is the value of a click? What is the technology behind Google, etc. So let's say you can be a metrics expert, right? From a tech point of view. Second is, let's say you're a media buying, selling kind of expert, which is very similar, they kind of link together. And the third, let's say it's a content expert, okay? If you're a content expert, you're the boss. That's the entire sum of my presentation. It's content. It is not, you can be a PhD in retargeting, it's not going to help your brand, right? But if you know a little bit about content, which is human behavior, what people want at what point in time, then it's very good for you, your brand, right? So don't focus too much on the technology, the media, retargeting, etc. It's an endless discussion, it never stops, okay? Just take out 5% of your time and get into content, branded content, whatever you call it. That will give you much greater ROI. Yes, sir. Yeah.
With a lot of advertisements, and even I do that, everyone does that. So, what is the best method to the best target audience?
That's a very broad question. I can't give you a magic answer. It depends on a lot of things. It depends on who's your audience. Maybe your audience is not digital at all. Like I remember many years back, about 7 years back, or 6 years back, so a lady in the audience asked me, similar kind of place, how can I sell trucks on Facebook? this is a time when targeting was very, very basic. All that targeting that you see on Facebook right now was not there. So I told them, don't sell trucks on Facebook. So it depends. Your question is too wide. I don't have one answer.
Fine, we'll discuss it later then.
Sure.
And I was discussing with Emmanuel.
Let me just roll on,
Sure.
because you
Please,
guys
please.
have many interesting backgrounds, so ideally, I should just pass the mic around. I'm sure you have many stories. Anyway, let's just finish this. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
The question which I have on mind is, how do you, distinguish between what is excelling in digital branding vis-a-vis not excelling? Because everyone is putting in all kind of efforts. There are tactics, there are techniques which you just mentioned. There are some lies and damn lies and statistics which are also used out there. We've seen ethics and integrity also being exploited out there. We've seen it in the campaign with the PM. We've seen with one with Jhadu out there. So content, since you
What is
mentioned,
the question? I'm not getting a question.
I'm coming to it and saying, how do you distinguish? Since most of these folks are brand managers or people who are into the community of branding, how do they, as a takeaway, perhaps, somewhere in your presentation or in your discussion today, how do we, demonstrate brand excellence? That's the question. Effectiveness and efficiency both are there, because
for me, the only thing that I look at is numbers. What are the returns? What is the ROI?
Yeah.
So for me, excellence is a point of view. It's an opinion, right? If I cannot measure excellence, for me, I'm not interested.
Yeah, there are multiple ways, and so I don't want to get into the semantics of that. But the idea was that, in your viewpoint, because there's so much of things which are happening in the digital world, what would you call? There are different definitions which everyone has got there in their minds. But I, as a, someone who's a speaker out here, I thought, I'd like to know, pick your brain on saying, if you have to say that's an excellent digital brand, what would that be? And what are the characteristics which you look for?
Your question is, what is excellence and what is not, right? So I'm saying the only lens that I use is effectiveness.
Yeah, but okay, maybe we can discuss it later. But sure. What I was saying was that even the content can also be used to exploit, the wrong content. I'll give you one data point, and this could be of interest to everyone.
Can we have a discussion later? Because
just 30 seconds. 30 seconds on that, right?
Okay,
so recently I'd seen a post which was shared with a friend to me. This was a Bangalore-based company which launched a restaurant in the morning. By end of the day, they had Facebook, followers, and they had also won some brand award by that. Now that's one way of creating a brand equity through gimmicks in the digital world. But I don't think as professionals anyone would like to follow them. So these are the risks which I see as challenges which are questioning the right way of branding also vis-a-vis others. Because suddenly the effectiveness or ROI on that particular product, by the way, the restaurant was not even existing, seems to be something which is an interesting case study in that way. Sorry for taking that.
No, you're welcome. By effectiveness, I also mean over time, not one evening. So I want to see if that restaurant that you mentioned has lasted for 1 year or 2 years. How many people have gone there, repeat visits, etc. Effectiveness, you cannot lie. Numbers never lie. You have to ask the right questions. Numbers don't lie. Yeah? Okay. So, if your fireworks are great, stop people disappearing, but getting a good old bonfire going. Right? Don't mix it up too much. That is it. So that's my first stuff we kind of do right now. Actually, since it's a very interactive kind of thing, let me take a little break and show you a very interesting video. About how a retail brand did some fantastic brand building. This is a little old, about 5-6 years old. sec. I will not bore you with this thing. Let me just take it out first. That's fine. Yeah, I've got it. So, before I play this video, Best Buy is a electronic retail giant in the US. And, they had a massive problem, which, the video will explain to you. And they used Twitter to address that problem, which not just addressed the problem, but took the brand salience or whatever you call it from here to there. Okay. So this is a very interesting brand building case study, okay, which is why I'm playing it. This is like, I would say, what is the Tata-owned electronic chain in India? Chroma. It's like Chroma in the US, right?
But their key asset, the knowledge, the blue shirts, Best Buy has always
life.
So if people never came in, how would they ever know that they were missing? So Best Buy decided to launch a tool that the knowledge that you can beyond the wall out of the Amar, anytime, all of your army of Best Buy employees available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, on Twitter. And not to provide or to sales, but to provide trust. If you have a question, simply tweet @12force and get an answer fast. In fact, for every question tweeted, over 2,000 blue shirts are racing to give the fastest and bestest answer. And you've got answers from real Best Buy employees, not from some call center an ocean away. And no questions are out of bounds. No questions are too ridiculous. No questions are ignored. Plus, the collective power of 12force is always watching for tech-issue tweets and can quickly lend a hand, even without anyone asking. Since the launch, 12force has answered thousands and thousands of tweets and is building momentum for Best Buy as a brand that not only knows tech, but lives it as well.
So I'll tell you what these guys did. People used to go to Best Buy retail outlets and say that, your employees don't know enough about your products. They're giving us the wrong information. Okay. And they measured it. They measured it over a period of time, and they saw, the reputation of Best Buy going like this, going southwards, right? So they went to a digital agency, ad agency called CPB, Crispin, Porter, Boguski, okay? And they said, this is the problem, please solve it, okay? That agency did not do a TV ad. They didn't do radio, etc. What they did was, they actually did a survey and found out that, no, what people are saying is wrong. Actually, these guys, the salespeople, they have a lot of information, knowledge about the products that they sell, but somehow it's not connecting to the consumers. So what they did was, do exactly like a telephone helpline on Twitter, okay? And they gave the admin rights, as you call it, to, I think, 100, 200 people across the US, okay? So one Twitter page with 100 admin people, helpline staff, basically. So any question that you asked, people ran to Twitter to answer it, and you got the best answers. So what happened is they turned the business problem around, People started saying, these guys are experts. The Best Buy staff are experts. Okay, and this thing started getting covered in mainstream media, in print and TV, etc. So from brand reputation going down, they turned it around, this Twitter page, and they went up. Right. Also won a lot of awards. I think it won some Cannes Gold Awards or something 5 years back. So I was just giving an example, right? From a digital kind of background, what is your favorite digital brand? I mean, let me say it another way. Which brand do you admire most online? Any brand which is present online, which brand do you like? I'm not talking about the advertising, I'm just talking about the brand. It could be Flipkart, or it could be a non-digital brand also, Anybody answer? Yeah? Tell me. Aparna, bolo? Yeah, Ran. Yeah. During the Maggie fiasco. Okay. Yeah.
That were happening, so I was following their page and I saw how brilliantly they managed it. It was really nice.
Okay. Now that's a very good example. Incidentally, our friend Emmanuel here is also, used to head the Nestle account, the Maggie account. So I'll request Emmanuel to say a few words, Mike Leon or something, on the Maggie fiasco. For those who couldn't hear her because she didn't have the mic, she said Nestle is a good example of a good online brand, especially, when this Maggie, there was a lot of negative stuff around Maggie noodles at some point back. So how they handle the problem is very good. That's what you're saying. So we'll ask Emmanuel the man who was in the center of it all, to say a few words.
Well, I was not in the center when the controversy happened, but to talk about how they've been managing the digital space is when I was heading the Nestle business from Publicis, the previous agency, I was the creative head, and they were completing 25 years. It will probably demonstrate the same point. When they finished 25 years in India, and they asked for us a campaign, and then interestingly, we went to their social media accounts, and Nestle has always been about mother and mummy, book lagi hai, 2 minute and all kind of stuff. But on Facebook, we found so many accounts and pages of, like Shubho mentioned about 2 fans of Coca-Cola started a page for studio. Similarly, there were so many people on top Facebook and other mediums talking about Maggie. So that then we asked, the whole campaign we asked, including TV and other medium, that tell us your Maggie story. And then we did a TV campaign and digital and everything, and asked people to tell us your story, and then we will create films. And then people wrote to us on Medium, on social media, through normal mail and SMSs and other stuff. So what I'm trying to say is the content for Maggie was live there in Facebook pages, where traditionally, at least this is about 5-6 years ago, you would never thought that Maggie mom was on a Facebook account. Though of course now even grandmothers are there.
Yeah. Okay. Does anyone remember the Maggie fiasco when it happened? Last year, December. Maggie's story, Maggie is a great brand. I mean, we know this story, of course, how they handle the crisis. But the great thing that Maggie has done is getting people to tell their own Maggie stories, when they were college students or, on a budget, something or the other, So how they turned Maggie into a cultural property using digital. That is the big story. Anyone has another example you want to share? Sorry? Okay.
And now it's on the Facebook and all.
Yeah.
So you think about any current event happening, be it the Amma winning or Didi winning it out, or Sushil Kumar's episode. When those are like, very, very anecdotal ones, but connects the brand to you.
Yeah.
Very, very
I will disagree, and I'll tell you why. Are you done? Are you done? Anything
Another
else?
one is
you want?
Airtel, by the way. Airtel has also managed their 4G story pretty good.
Yeah. So I will disagree with you on both counts, and disagree in a very agreeable way. Okay. Yeah, because that is very important. Amul, I think, has not used the digital medium beyond the way they used it in hoardings, right? It is still an image, a picture, which is on Facebook or other places, okay? And they depend on two things to, kind of share it. One is they spend a lot of money so that people see it on Facebook and other places. And second is when people see it, they like it, they share it, okay? Now, that is Amul, and the second one is Airtel. They have some interesting story for 4G, okay? Again, they're spending a lot of money to promote it, right? Now, the real digital idea, which is why I like the Nestle thing, okay, is crowdsourced. It comes from the crowd, comes from the fans. Nestle, this Maggie thing is about stories, individual stories coming together, right? Which is why I think it's closer to a digital. I'm not saying it's bad, Amul, etc. No, I've got your point. I'm just saying from a pure digital point of view, it must be very crowdsourced. That quality, that feel must be there. This Best Buy thing that I showed you, it's also in a kind of a crowdsourced, though they are employees, the people who handle the Twitter thing, but it's still crowdsourced. There's a feeling that there are many people coming together to doing something, which is the digital core of the digital thing, right? Yeah. Correct, yeah. Okay, now we'll get into something which is far away from digital. We'll go back to what is a brand? What are the fundamentals of a brand? Okay. So brand is basically brand dead. People used to heat, iron, these stamps and, put them on horses to brand them. That's where the word starts, branding. Okay. Then branding really took off during the Industrial Revolution. That's when it was really born. Mass production, in other words, right? So, what is a brand? And there are, some of you might be familiar with this gentleman, Al Rice. So his explanation is this, it's one idea or concept that you own inside the mind of the customer. Okay. This is one definition. There are many other definitions. All of them are right, or most of them are right. A brand is how your product is, or service, or whatever, is differentiated from other people. It could be in the same category. So what is the difference in Flipkart and Snapdeal? Okay, it's the branding. They may be doing exactly the same thing, more or less. A little technology might differ, but they're in the same space. But for some people, Flipkart is a stronger brand than Snapdeal. For some people, Amazon is stronger than both, right? It's the brand value. And brand is not advertising. You cannot build a brand only through advertising. A brand has to be built through a combination of many different things. One of them is advertising. It has to come from customer experience, I would say, especially the e-commerce segment, right? But it's still a differentiator. It is what separates you from the other guys. So market share is not just based on sales, I think that's what he wants to say, but on the power of the brand in the mind, right? A brand is a mix of two things, which is your right brain and your left brain. The emotional qualities, values that you associate with something, and the rational values. Amazon has a fantastic, delivery system, for example. The search engine is very helpful. The UI, the UX is very helpful. So those are rational attributes. But rational attributes don't make up a brand. Because otherwise I can show you some, not Amazon, but it is a very good whatever, but I can show you a lot of smaller e-commerce players which are better than Flipkart and Snapdeal. But for some reason those stick in the mind more, not just because of their advertising. Okay. So why is there, even now in the age of digital, when a brand, you know, the way we understood brands 20 years back when I started working, you know, it's very different, you know, the way we sell stuff right now online. Okay, the grammar has changed, but the values of the brand are same. What is a brand 20 years back or 50 years back and now? There is no major shift, right? So why the hype? There's this value association, there's this pride, there is differentiator, you sell more, you attract better employees. You know, a lot of people work, you know, for the brand value of the company, right? Higher followership, and of course, you can command a premium price. I mean, restaurant X and restaurant Y might be selling the same thing. Even the experience might be exactly the same, you know, same kind of decor, the same table, the same service, the same food, but the other restaurant can charge a premium. Restaurant X, restaurant Y can't. It's the brand value. Right? So, let's take a little break and I'll just ask 5-6 of you, what is your favorite brand and why? Why is that your favorite brand, and you know, what are the qualities, values of the brand that you are attracted to? Mic kahan pe? Where's the mic? Give it to anyone. So keep it as short as possible. What is the name of your favorite brand, and in one sentence, why is it your favorite brand?
Nike shoes.
Okay.
I feel comfortable and enjoy my job when I wear Nike shoes. Thanks.
But I have Bata shoes. They're very comfortable also. Yeah. What is it about Nike that attracts you?
I've tried with Bata also.
Okay, it's not that comfortable.
I didn't find that.
Okay, all right. For me, it's the same. I mean, the shoes, whatever. But I still, you know, Nike as a brand is far bigger for me than Bata. But not because it's comfortable. It's a little bit of the brand values also. Anyway, the lady out there, don't say Google, say anything, any other brand. Yeah.
So,
but Google is one of my top 3 brands, but I'm saying it on your behalf. Now, give me the non-Google brand.
Sure, I'll be picking up something very different. So for me, Zara is the brand which I really like because they always come up with something very new and very attractive for the young crowd, and that's where, you know, it is one of my favorites.
So what are the qualities that you mentioned? New and?
New, as well as they always come up with something which is more youthful, which is new in the market, and that's how, you know, I get attracted towards the clothing line.
Hello, I like Apple. It's because of the product design they offer to the end customers, and because they actually made they introduced this thing to the market, that the product design definitely value a lot to the end customer, not just the performance. So I like it very much.
Okay, Apple. Are there any Indians in this room? I want to hear one Indian brand. Anybody has an Indian brand that they like? You can like foreign brands also, no problem. But can anyone give me an Indian brand that they like? Oberoi. Okay. Tell us why you like Oberoi. It's very good. It's a brilliant example in the hospitality sector. Please share with us why you like, why Oberoi is your favorite.
Oberoi, see, I'll say they have redefined the term luxury. And they applied one thing which everybody faces, and they have applied this concept to everything when you enter that hotel. And that one thing is, you might be very fond of having chicken, but if you applied, given the same dish, morning, evening, afternoon, next day, you will get fed up of. So what they do is, whenever a repeat customer comes in, every time he'll get something new, something different, whether in the rooms or in the restaurants or anywhere. It's never the same thing. As many times as you'll go, you will find something very new.
Sure. Thank you.
Something new.
Okay. One last one, another one, Indian. You'll come, Arpana.
I like Paytm.
Paytm, okay.
Yeah, because everything is there.
It's the first digital brand that he's talking about, as in born on
and
internet.
it's very helpful for me because while I'm traveling anywhere, I can pay anything. My mobile bill, I can recharge it. I can pay my travel expense over there. I can buy anything if I need.
So you're talking about convenience. It's very convenient.
And availability to every options. Like I don't want to go anywhere. It will give me all solution.
Is it because Paytm was there before everyone else? Paytm and Freecharge also, but Paytm.
It's very easy. Like it's very user friendly. Everything
Yeah.
in front of your eyes. You don't have to search anything.
Okay. Do you have a Paytm wallet?
Yeah, I have my Paytm wallet. I can pay my food bill also.
How much money is there in your wallet right now? I'm just asking. Curious.
500 bucks. Kind of.
500 rupees. Okay.
And also I get cashbacks from each and every time.
Cashbacks also. Okay. So it's convenience,
It
which
makes
is
me
the
earn
main.
also. It's making me like.
My friend. No, we are not short of time.
Okay, I think a favorite brand has, in my opinion, nothing to do with the convenience of a product. It's always a story. So for me, my connect with the brand is probably a childhood memory. So like during vacations when we used to go to our grandmother's place, my uncles used to treat me with Pepsi, then Leher Pepsi. So even if Coke would do a Coke studio, that connect I have with Pepsi is that memory. We used to use Big Babool, but my grandmother used to use Meswak. So I associate that taste of that toothpaste with that childhood memory. So I think it's all about the story you build around a brand.
I think what you said is wonderful, it's brilliant. And I was just coming to it, you just took the words out of my mouth, which is why it's wonderful to have, people like you in the audience. It's stories, So a brand has to tell a story. What you guys told me are very rational reasons why you like the brand. Convenience, comfort, luxury refined is not exactly whatever, but kind of in the same space. But all of these are stories. If you dig a little deeper, there'll all be stories. You started telling me some stories, right? The second time you go there, they already know, and so there's a story out there. The convenience. You can tell me 10 stories of how Paytm helped you at a difficult time, right? Sure, correct. But yeah, you will give me examples, right, of how this convenience helped you. So, but on the top of it, there might be rational reasons. Zara also you mentioned, but there's always a story, there's always a memory, like I wore this shirt and I look good, etc. Okay, so it's a story. So the more stories a brand has or helps you tell your own stories, okay, the stronger the brand is. Maggie experience is all about stories. It's not saying eat Maggie because it has nutritive qualities. Actually, it does not. There's a controversy out there, but everyone has a Maggie story. If anyone was was in a hostel dormitory, you remember how you put Maggie in between bread and made a Maggie sandwich, right? So that's a story. So every brand, the more stories you have, the stronger your brand is. I was hoping someone would tell me about Patanjali. Why do you think, we'll keep it short because, kind of running out of time, but I'll just ask 3 people in this room, why is Patanjali so wildly successful? I want to start with someone who hasn't spoken before.
Hello, yeah. They've got very cheaper prices as compared to other brands which are multinational in brands selling their products in India.
Okay. Give it to him.
This is so uncanny. I had Patanjali in my mind all this while you were discussing this. I personally boycott Patanjali products for my personal reasons. I don't relate to many ideologies that the man talks about. But
no, I'm not asking you your personal preference.
Yeah.
Why is it so popular? In one sentence, if you could tell us.
One, I think because definitely the price point. And secondly, I feel like they have a substitute for everything that's already been out there and selling very well. So they have just a cheaper substitute for everything. For example, I remember while growing up, there was Ayur shampoo, which was very popular with women at home. And they have something very similar, which is, I mean, even now at almost the same price that you were getting it at 15 years back. So I think just that, like, there's a substitute for everything, anything and everything that I want to think about.
Okay. So
They have a cheaper substitute.
So,
I think they are successful because of the reason, first they identified the society having issue, the health problems, and first they educate through the severe camps Ramdev had in different parts of the country. They educated and they created the trust. Like this guy, whatever he is recommending,
you're
he
right,
is saying
but
true.
you can stop right there. I'll tell you. I'll just take what you're saying forward. I totally agree with you. So Patanjali is a storytelling brand, and it started selling much before they, started selling this. They started in yoga camps on Asta TV or some TV channel, right? The camps, etc. So what was the big story? The big story was patriotism, Indian values, traditional values, etc. That was the story. And Ramdev did a very smart thing. He started attacking MNCs, the foreign way of life, 10 years ago, not now. So you're talking about the shampoo and the toothpaste now, but it started 10 years back when there was nothing. He started telling stories about Indian culture. Right stories, wrong stories, bad stories, good wo alag baat hai. But he started telling stories. That's how he connected with his audience. Who's his big audience right now? It's middle class in smaller cities. It might be selling in Delhi also, but you go to Agra, everyone is using Patanjali. And you're right, it's a good product, nice, fancy packaging and all that. But that is not the reason. The reason it started with his telling stories. Patanjali is a storytelling brand. I can tell you better products than Patanjali in the same category, Ayurveda, etc. They are not storytelling brands. You buy them only for convenience. I mean, only for rational reasons. The left brain or right brain, whatever it is. They don't have any stories. The reason Patanjali is so widely successful is not because it's a good product, there are better products. Not because it's cheap, there are cheaper products. Not because of its distribution, the MNCs have better distribution actually. Patanjali can't catch up in distribution, okay? Not so easy. But Patanjali has so many stories. It is not easy for an MNC to have so many stories. Maggi is an exception. Head and Shoulders, there is no story. Yeah? Anyway, let's just get back. Yeah. Negative stories make a brand grow stronger sometimes.
Yeah, so that's what
remember them.
He managed them pretty well, I believe.
Yeah,
That's what I wanted to add on Patanjali.
Sure. Yeah, of course. Very well. This guy, during the Delhi elections, I'm saying something I'm sure it'll stay in this room. So, the BJP was attacking Kejriwal, right? If you remember those ads, so a lot of people didn't like it, even within the BJP. And the person who didn't like it the most was Arun Jaitley. Okay. Jaitley hated those ads, which were anti-Kejriwal and all that. He said, what you're doing is you're just giving him a lot of attention, right? So he said there are two people in Indian political history who were attacked the most. Indira Gandhi and Narendra Modi. We both know what happened to them, right? So sometimes these attacks make a brand grow stronger, I mean, what is her name? Medha? What was her name? Brinda Karat, yeah. So it seemed like she was attacking patriotism. I remember some videos from that time, People were very angry with Vrinda Karat. They thought she was attacking Indian tradition. Because he had already established, the patriotism, tradition kind of thing. So any attack now will seem like you're attacking India. That's such a smart thing to do, right? Anyway. So this is what a brand is not is a trademark. A lot of you have a law background. It's not just a trademark. It's not just a mission statement. It's not a logo or a slogan. Okay. It's not a product or service. These are the tangibles. And it is not the advertising. You can have very slick, smart advertising, but it's not the brand. Brand is much, much more, right? A brand has a point of view, right? Maggi Noodles has a point of view, Patanjali has a point of view, Nike has a point of view, Oberoi's has a point of view. All these brands that you mentioned, they have a very clear point of view, right? There's customer value, right? It is not just sound bites and nice images. There is some customer value in the brand, which is, you mentioned convenience. Okay, there's a competitive advantage. It's not a Me Too kind of thing. Okay, and there is meanings. There is emotion behind the brand. It is not just the rational reasons. Okay, so there are many kinds of brands. These days there are e-brands, the startup stories. Anybody works for the government here? Whether the local government, state government, central government? No? Okay. So a lot of these government departments are trying to rebrand themselves. Indian Railways, for example. Okay, and they're doing not just ads, but they're doing interesting things which change the image. A brand is also an image, right? Change the image of the organization. Indian Railways, for example, some of you might be seeing from time to time. If you tweet about a bad experience you're having on Indian Railways, someone will help you. And so, all these little interventions are helping in building the brand. How do you build a brand? So, this is not like a Bible 5-step branding process, okay, but this is just an example. Assessment. In digital, it's called the POST, I think, people objective. There is a particular science to it. But the first thing is you have to assess, you have to listen to people. What are they saying about in your category? You can use certain tools, free tools, for example, to listen to what people are talking about online. So, brand assessment, internal and external assessment. What are the consumer insights, to the building blocks by the brand? So, if you take an online brand, Oyo Rooms, what do you think is the consumer insight for Oyo Rooms? Anybody wants to volunteer? It's, and I'm volunteering. In other words, maybe it's not the right answer, but I'm just giving whatever. Oyo Rooms is budget predictability. Predictability, reassurance of a comfortable stay, even in a budget kind of situation. That's what Oyo Rooms stand for. That's why the company was formed. Brand promise is basically the stories. Patanjali is, what comes to our mind. You have to create visual representations, look and feel of the brand. What is the culture around the brand? This is probably the most important. Nike has a certain culture of aspiration. How can I be better? Of course, by wearing these shoes, but the big thing about Nike is aspiration. Of course, the competitive advantage. stages of branding. There's corporate branding, individual branding, cause branding, co-branding, personal branding, faith branding these days, right? I'll play one video. Light off it. one word that we're repeating again and again is engagement. It's engagement. If you were to marry digital and brands together, the word is engagement. That is the difference between digital and any other medium. And so that's why I was saying, Amul or whatever, if there is no engagement, they're not leveraging the brand that well. Right? If all the classic digital brands, in the sense, brands that have used the digital medium to go from here to there, right, have all used engagement, whether it's Maggie, whether it's Nike, Overhead does a fantastic job, in any other brand, right? I will end with one video by a company called Airbnb. Okay. Airbnb is it's like OYO rooms, but it's your house. It's not a hotel, right? And it's all over the world, including here in Gurgaon. So if you have I'm just saying it just for the people who don't know. I'm sure everyone does. The majority do. If you have a spare room in your house which you can let out to travelers, to tourists, whoever, you can put it up on Airbnb.com. That's it. That's the business model, really. It's a unicorn. It's I think worth $30-40 billion right now. It's one of the top 10 e-commerce companies in the world. Okay. And this is what I'm going to play to you is the Airbnb commercial. It's very recent, about 6 months or 8 months back, 8 months old. And as you'll see, it has nothing. It is promising nothing. As in, there is no rational promise. It does not say we are giving you 10 million rooms in 5 million cities. It does not say we are very comfortable to stay with and very cheap. There are no rational reasons at all. Okay. So let's look at it. And I think it's a classic, maybe the best brand building exercise I've done. Anyway. That's it. There's nothing else. Please explain to us what this film was about. Will you? Yes. Okay. Oh. Sorry. You said it was about emotional connect, about... Yeah. Okay. Yeah. How would you explain this? What do you think is the message is? What do you think? What is the message of this film? Exactly. Explore. People are nice people. Don't be afraid. Go out, explore. That's all they're saying. Creating an emotion behind the brand, which I think is so brilliant. This film went viral like crazy. I don't know how many shares or whatever. Though. So this is a very good example of an online, this is only online, right? I'll show you another example before I finish, which is your film? What is the name of the film? Huh? This is a recruitment thing, right? Viral, whatever are big buzzwords. I think they use the medium very interestingly. So, I just want to play this film and then we can talk about it. Yeah. So, again, it's about relationships. You can have the lights on. So, a brand is, at the core of the brand is a relationship. It is a story. Right? If your brand does not have it, at best you can say 100% cashback. Tomorrow someone else will come and say 101% cashback, right? So it's very important to be a storyteller in the age of digital branding. And digital is the medium where you can tell hundreds of stories, Maggie, Airbnb, Oberoi, whatever it is, So that's the sum of my message, that's what I want to say. So thank you very much. I hope you didn't get too bored. If there are any interesting threads that you want to take up while we're having coffee, very happy to. Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to India's first corporate news channel. We invite interviews, articles, press releases from your organization. Visit our portal www.indianconventions.com. Thank you.
You know, these days video, viral, whatever are big buzzwords. I think they use the medium very interestingly. So, you know, I just want to play this film and then we can talk about it.
We stand hereby witnesses that this contract dated as of the 15th day of October 1993 is hereby entered into between Calvin Moore, son of Kevin Moore, and Tyler Moore, son of Calvin Moore, residents of 219 Birch Court, hereinafter referred to as Party. The parties hereby covenant and agree as follows: that Calvin Moore henceforth shall be called the first party, shall give a gift every year on the day of the birth of the second party. The gift shall not exceed the value of $49. That such gift shall be null and void in case the second party does not follow the express instructions of the first party. The first party shall narrate one story every night to the second party. However, such story shall not be narrated more than 10 minutes every day. Furthermore, this requirement shall be null and void in the event that the first party is traveling for work. In witness thereof, the parties hereto have hereunto caused this agreement to be executed by their duly authorized representatives on the day and year first herein above mentioned. Signed by the first party and the second party.
Yeah. So, again, it's about relationships. You can have the lights on. So, a brand is, at the core of the brand is a relationship. It is a story, right? If your brand does not have it, you know, at best you can say 100% cashback. Tomorrow someone else will come and say 101% cashback, right? So it's very important to be a storyteller in the age of digital branding. And digital is the medium where you can tell hundreds of stories, you know, Maggie, Airbnb, Oberoi, whatever it is, you know. So that's the sum of my message, you know. I mean, that's what I want to say. So thank you very much. I hope you didn't get too bored. If there are any interesting things, threads that you want to take up while we're having coffee, very happy to. Yeah. Thank you.